Hey, Mary School friends. Gwen and Ava and all the people that like books, Finley. I got my hair cut, and it's great. And I'm here with my dog, Jenny. Good girl, Jenny. And I just finished having my rest time, and I was going to read a funny book. Everybody likes funny books. And this one is called Anytime Mapleson and the Hungry Bears. Do you remember that one from school? It is funny. Okay, Anytime Mapleson and the Hungry Bears by Mordecai Gernstein. For the venerable sugar maples of New England, may they endure. So sugar maples are the maple trees that make the most maple syrup, but you can get maple syrup from just the plain old red maples that we have in Watauga County, if you want to do that. My family has done that before, make maple syrup out of our maple trees. Okay, there's the house. On the 1st of March, when the fierce wind blew snow over the rocky hills and forests of New England, so those are the states in the United States up north of us, where it's usually colder and snows more, but maybe not really, because it's pretty cold and snows here. All right, New England, the Mapleson family got up early, and Mr. Mapleson said, "It's sugaring time." So sugaring is what they call making maple syrup. So do you see all the Mapleson family looking out the window? I'm trying to figure out how to show. Every time I have to figure out how to show these pictures. Okay. It was still snowing in March. Sugaring time is the time when the days start to warm slowly and the nights freeze up again. It is the time when the sap rises in the maple trees and starts to flow. So the sap is what they use to make the maple syrup. Sugaring time is the time to make maple syrup, and the Maplesons were famous all over rocky, hilly New England for their wonderful maple syrup. They were also famous for eating pancakes. Mr. Mapleson liked his pancakes and syrup for dinner, so they called him, what? Dinner time. Mrs. Mapleson liked her pancakes and syrups for lunch, and she was called lunchtime. Their daughter liked her pancakes and syrup for breakfast. She was called breakfast time. And the youngest Mapleson, her brother, liked his pancakes and syrup all the time, so they called him Anytime. Anytime Mapleson. There they all are with their pancakes. On this morning, the Maplesons got up in the dark and frozen dawn to get everything ready for sugaring. Dinner time and Anytime put on snowshoes and trudged out into the sugar bush. Sugar bush is what they call the maple trees. They're like a little farm of trees in the sugar bush where the maple trees were. So here are the snowshoes. Can you see those snowshoes on their feet? They're like cages, and they keep you from sinking down in the snow. They're really cool. Okay. They drilled little holes in all the maple trees, and they put in little faucets called spigots into each hole, and they hung a red bucket on each spigot to catch the sap, and they put a little tin roof on each bucket to keep the snow and the rain out, because you don't want to water down your sap. So you see the holes, the hole drilling, and the spigot, and the bucket, and the little roof. And so some trees have one and some trees have two. and you leave them there, and you hope that the sap will go into the bucket. When dinner time and any time got home, the whole family cleaned the big syrup boiling pan. It looks like a huge bathtub. You see it? It's made out of stainless steel. B said it was like what they used to make sorghum, cook sorghum. Then they stacked firewood to cook the sap that they would collect from the buckets on the maple trees. Then they sat around the wood stove and waited for the sap to start flowing. They waited for the days to warm slowly and the nights to freeze up again, because that is what starts the sap flowing. But the days froze and the nights were worse. They waited a day, they waited a week. Blizzards came and changed to ice storms. They waited 2 weeks, they waited 3 weeks. The ice turned to sleet and back to snow. And every day the big thermometer on the window said 0. So 0 is so cold. Do you see 0? So they were cleaning the big pan. Now they're waiting for it to warm up. Waiting, 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 waiting. It seems as if winter is going to last too long this year, said dinner time one evening. So it seems. On the first morning of April was last month, because now it's May. In the first morning of April, Anytime woke at dawn, sniffed, and said, "There is something in the air." It was snowing slightly, and it was blowing lightly. The thermometer still said 0, but there was something in the air. He's listening to his intuition. Anytime piled out of bed. He put on his long red flannel underwear and gray socks. So there's that. Looks so warm. He put on his purple plaid flannel outerwear and his dark blue double-duty dungarees. Dungarees is an old-fashioned word for blue jeans. So he's dressing in layers so that he stays toasty warm. Then he put on his purple plaid flannel. Oh, I already said that. He put on his yellow hand-knitted all-wool sweater. There's his yellow sweater. And then he put on his pea green down jacket with the padded hood. So he's got a down jacket that's very toasty warm and very puffy. Then he put on his felt-lined rubber-bottom leather-top duck boots, which are waterproof boots, and his orange waterproof fleece-lined hat with the ear flaps that go up and down. So here's boots. Oops, let me hold it right. No, those are his boots. Boots. This book is cattywampus. Boots and his hat. And then he went outside, and his family said, "Watch out for bears." His family waving goodbye. That wake up hungry and grumpy, because remember, bears sleep all winter, and they wake up in the spring. Dinner time, lunchtime, and breakfast time called after him, but he had already gone. Anytime went from tree to tree looking in all the buckets for any sign of sap, but there was none. So he kept on walking and he kept on looking until after a time he heard a sound. Scratching my back. What was that sound? Wondered Anytime. It was drip, drip, drip. Then it became drippity drip, drippity drip, drippity drip, and all around him the snow started melting off the trees, and big chunks of it began slipping off the branches. Can you see the drippity drip, drippity drip? And the drops dripped down, drumming on the snow, drumming into the frozen ground, drumming, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." That's what it told Anytime, that the trees were starting to wake up. Wow, said Anytime, and he ran to the nearest sap bucket and looked in, and sure enough, there was a tiny drop of sap on the tip of the spigot. It fell into the bucket, plink, and was followed by a bigger sound, plunk, plink, plunk. So there's next to the bucket, and he can hear him going plink, plunk. So the sap is starting to run into the buckets. Anytime ran to the next bucket, and sap was dripping even faster. Plink, plunk, plink, plunk, plink, plunk. Yay! He started to run back to the house to tell his family. He hadn't gotten very far when something blocked his path. It was small and black and furry with a bright red head. Can you see? What is that? Huh. Murph Gurf, it said. It was a small bear with a sap bucket stuck on his head. How do you think he got that sap bucket stuck on his head? I wonder. Should I help him pull the bucket off, wondered Anytime, or should I just tiptoe past him and run home as fast as I can? Well, in real life, you know what you should do, right? But this is not real life. This is pretend. Up till now it's been real life, but now it's pretend. But the bear said, Murph Gurf, and it sounded like he was saying, help, help. It was so sad that Anytime decided to help him, and he'd probably be grateful and friendly if I do. Anytime grabbed the bucket and pulled up. The little bear pulled down, and pop, the bucket came off. Okay, so this is the bucket still on. Bucket came off. Plop. Does he look happy? No, he does not. Growl, 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 said the bear rudely. To Anytime it sounded like he said, I am a small black bear who has just woken up from my winter sleep, and I am cranky and hungry, and you look like breakfast. Breakfast, I miss my sister, said Anytime. Please don't eat me, friend bear. Come home and look with me, and you can have all the pancakes and syrup that you can hold. This kind of reminds me of the Three Billy Goats Gruff. Gruff, 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 said the bear, which sounded like, don't make me laugh. Your family won't give me pancakes. What he said. They will, said Anytime, if you put on my dark blue double-duty dungarees and my pea green down jacket with the padded hood, and I will tell them that you are my friend Harvey, said Anytime. The bear thought about the pancakes and syrup, and he said, okay. So there he is, dressed up. Does he look like someone's friend Harvey? With the jacket and the dungarees on, the bear did look a lot like Anytime's friend Harvey. As they headed for home, all around them they heard drippity-plunk, drippity-plink, drippity-plunk, and the snow melted and the sap flowed. That's what they've been waiting for. You see their footsteps in the snow? Footsteps in the snow. They hadn't gotten very far before something blocked their path. It was a bigger bear with a sap bucket stuck over its nose. Let's just tippy-toe past and run home, said Anytime to the small bear. So this is what they saw. Do you see? There's a small bear, and there's Anytime, and there's, oh goodness, a really big bear. Grum, grum, said the small bear, which sounded like, no, that's my mom. So Anytime took off the bucket, and small bear took a hold of Anytime, and they both pulled one way while mother bear pulled the other way until pop, off came the bucket. Growl, 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 said mother bear. This is what she was like. she look very happy? No, ma'am. To any time, it sounded like she said, I am a big black bear who just woke up from my winter sleep, and I am cranky and grouchy and hungry, and you look like lunch. So what did he say?